coverage of the TSB Community Trust Series is proudly brought to you by Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand, Computer Concepts Limited, Ford New Zealand, Lotto Sports, and Hockey New Zealand. Live from Stratford, it's the Vantage Blacksticks versus Japan.
For the third time, the Vantage Blacksticks return to the TET Stadium in Stratford for this four-match TSB Community Trust Series against Samurai Japan. The small central Taranaki town on New Zealand's North Island is no stranger to international hockey after hosting the Oceania Cup, which was played here in 2013 and 2015. Kia ora and konnichiwa. My name is Will Johnston, and it's a privilege to be in Stratford for this four-match series over the next couple of days as the 9th-ranked Blacksticks build to their Olympic qualifying series against Korea, back here in Stratford in November. New Zealand finished second in the Oceania Cup in Rockhampton at the beginning of September after losing to Australia 3-0 in the final. Japan, who are ranked 15th in the world, have already qualified for the Olympics in their home country next year. They haven't played since the Ready Steady hockey tournament in August that New Zealand competed in. Japan came third in that competition, with New Zealand losing to India in the final. So both teams have had a break, one more than the other, and they're ready for this all-important series. Joining me in commentary for today's match is former Blacksticks and current hockey coach Lincoln Churchill. And Lincoln, an important series for New Zealand as they build towards the qualifier next month.
Yeah, konnichiwa, Will. Very important series. So New Zealand obviously looking to try and get themselves on the front foot and against Japan in this series, and prepare which would be the perfect preparation for the series against Korea. You mentioned there they came second in the Oceania Cup. There were only two teams in it, so they were obviously keen to improve on that performance, but pretty tough against one of the best teams in the world in Australia. So a lot to prove here against Japan, and a lot of players, as you mentioned, coming back in to the side. So it'd be good to see them play.
And we'll just have a look at the teams for today. In fact, we'll have a look at the teams very shortly. But Matt Hastings caught up with the two coaches.
Siegfried, welcome to Stratford. How has the preparation been this week for the boys leading into tonight's match?
Well, 3 days before we came here, we had a camp in Japan. So we tried to prepare ourselves the best way we could, because before that we had domestic leagues. And we played in August in the Olympic test event. So we played them recently. We know their strengths. And of course they are now in competition to qualify for the Olympics. So they will be very strong. And we want to check how far we are, our progress, how we do. Sure. And we don't have all our best players because it's impossible for us to get them. They play foreign leagues, some of them, but what we brought are players who are all in the Olympic squad, and so they all fight for a place at the Olympics, and that means that they have to perform their best here.
Great. You played the Blacksticks back in August. Is there many learnings from that game taking into tonight?
Yes, of course, because they surprised us. They killed us in the last minute, even last seconds. So in the dying seconds, they scored the winner, and 1 minute before they scored the equalizer. So we have something to do, and especially when they play all or nothing, we have to control our emotions more and keep our structure. And if we do that, we are better prepared to deal with it, and that's one of the learning points.
Great. All the best for tonight.
Thank you. Enjoy the match.
Word from the Japanese.
Joining me now is Coach Darren Smith. Darren, welcome to tonight. Welcome to Stratford. How's the week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Nice to get settled into Taranaki, and our locals have been welcoming. Turf's good, and really it's been a good few days for us. So good to be here.
Great. Steve Child and Steve Edwards come back after lengthy periods away with the side. What is their time with the team over those many years and those at caps bring to tonight's game?
Oh, I mean, I think it'll be fantastic. I mean, Simon, first time back since Rio. You know, it's over 3 years ago, so for him he'd be really excited, and for us we get a top quality player who performed well for Auckland in the NHL, and we've been looking forward to having him back. And Steve Edwards the same. You know, last time he played was here, Stratford, in the Oceania Cup, and Steve's a guy with a heck of a lot of skill. We want to see him on the ball. He's in good form. He played very well for Harbour in the NHL and was one of their best. And I'm sure he'll do well for us. So we're looking forward to seeing him play.
All the best for tonight. Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Back to you, Will and Lincoln.
Thanks, Matt. The words from the two coaches for today. And let's just take a look at the two sides playing in this match. The Samurai selected 19 players for this series, and as I said, haven't played since the Reddy City Hockey Tournament in their homeland in August. The coach named a fairly experienced side with 4 players having notched up 100 matches. That includes Captain Jinky Matani, Suguru Hoshi, Manabu Hamashita, and Horitaka Tanako. An exciting series for the 26-year-old Senarini Tanaka and Hosha Shimada, who will reach both a ton this match with Tanaka, mentioning he will play his 100th match today and Yamashita tomorrow. And the New Zealand side, Coach Darren Smith hasn't held back selecting his side for this series. It's a very good squad with 7 players having played over 200 games and a further 6 having played over 100 matches. In the second test of this series, it will be a great milestone for central defender Shane McAleese, who will notch up 300 games for New Zealand and will join names like Burrows, Cousins and Archibald in the 300 club. Steve Edwards returns for the first time since 2015. Brad Reid and Dylan Thomas will also return as well. And here are the anthems of both countries.
Would you please remain standing for the national anthem of New Zealand?
Well, all is set here at the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford. A couple of minutes away from a start. And a change in captain for the Black Sticks. Aaron Puncher will be the man to lead New Zealand. It's a very, very nice atmosphere, isn't it, Lincoln, down here in Stratford? A little bit of a breeze about, but it's a great day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice atmosphere, but a very cold one. So you can see when you get a glance at the crowd over there, you can see everyone is wrapped up.
So it looks like Japan will be playing from right to left as we see it on our screen. The Black Sticks going away to the left-hand side. And a good crowd that has built up here. As I said in the intro, Stratford, no stranger to international hockey. Japan here for the first time. And I do hear, Lincoln, as well, that they have been on farms and so forth during the week, getting a taste of New Zealand culture.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? It's lovely Taranaki. There's a lot to offer, so they've been making the most of it. So seeing where some of New Zealand's great dairy products come from. It was interesting to see during the national anthems there. So Leon Hayward, Australian, of course, and just noticing he might have to learn the words to the New Zealand national anthem. He was sort of struggling a little bit with them, but hopefully this will be the first of many games for him, for New Zealand, so he'll have a bit of time to learn it.
On debut, he played 13 matches for the Kookaburras, and he'll make his debut for New Zealand through his mother.
I'm not sure how exactly that works. Actually, quite a number of the Australian players have got New Zealand heritage, but yeah, most of them still choosing to play for Australia. Unfortunately, Leon's very talented brother Jeremy has not chosen to join the Black Sticks.
Simon Childs over the ball for New Zealand, ready for centre pass, which is moments away. Very experienced Black Sticks team, and they'll be looking forward to getting stuck into this match today. And we're underway at the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford for the first of 4 matches between New Zealand, the Black Sticks, and the Samurai of Japan. Early penalty for Japan, and they'll just look to use the ball in their own half. And straight away, Zindana gets the ball down, but another turnover there. So the Black Sticks playing in front of a fairly healthy crowd here. And again, New Zealand just trying to sort out their combinations, and playing in the back is Dan Lett right down in front of us here. They move it inside to the Japan half, and they go back. Bennett now across. Can they get something moving? I guess at this point, Lincoln, they're just trying to find out combinations, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Japan traditionally tend to defend half court, which you see them doing as New Zealand knock the ball around. They're not really applying too much pressure, allowing New Zealand just to hold on to the ball. And that does tend to just mean the game loses a bit of pace. But then this is the situation Japan hunt for, just to win possession and then try and break quickly.
Well, there's that man in the number 5 jersey, Tanaka, playing his 100th cap for his home country. A 26-year-old. He pretty much runs the midfield for this Japanese team, and we're looking forward to him being in action over the next couple of games or so. Of course, 4 matches, all here in Stratford. So Japan on the far side of the turf. The defence from New Zealand is just forcing them inside their own half, but there's the overhead pass, intercepted by the Kiwis.
Yeah, just set up in a nice catching position there.
Really conservative start though, isn't it, Lincoln?
Yeah, it's not setting the world on fire. Things will start to open up though as we tease our way into this match. As Darren Smith commented in his pre-match interview there, a very good hockey pitch here at Stratford, so that'll certainly allow the game hopefully to get some real quality in it. Sometimes the pitch can really inhibit good play if the ball tends to bounce around too much. So,
well, also they're getting used to this turf because they're playing that Olympic qualifier here as well against Korea early November. So a chance just to, I guess, get used to the environment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously it's a big advantage for New Zealand being able to play that game on home soil, and yeah, having the opportunity to play these games here will be really valuable. Build up for that all important qualifier.
Umpire in this match is Hideki Konoshita from Japan and David Tomlinson of New Zealand.
Yeah, both very good umpires. Dave Tomlinson, very experienced international umpire from New Zealand.
Well, Japan now, for the first time, putting a little bit of pressure on New Zealand. They get the free hit, and over the ball is Kirishita. Moves it back, and Shahi over it moves, and the overhead pass trying to link up, and the ball just goes a little bit too far. But for the first time in the game, we see a little bit of pressure from Japan.
Yeah, just not able to complete that final pass to really do anything too threatening to New Zealand. Yeah, I mean, it's been a pattern for both sides, really, as the other team just holds back a little bit, and then that pass that actually turns possession into something a little more creative or a bit more attacking has just been found wanting.
Again, New Zealand around their half. Here's the overhead pass, trying to link up. And it was a good one too, but straight away another turnover. And Japan on the attack once more. Over halfway they move, and a free hit. Hands up in the air. So
yeah, I think it's hard to see what the referee saw there, because it looked a pretty clean shave tackle from Nick Woods for mine, but he didn't think so.
Kirishita again, trying to link up, but Bennett is onto it, but he gives it straight back to Wakuri with the strike, trying to link up there. Oshahi.
Very well read by Dane Lett there. That was actually quite a threatening pass, but he did well to get in front of his man and deflect the ball over the sideline.
Well, we've seen a little bit of speed there by Nagai. And Japan now having a little bit of time inside New Zealand's half. Can it pay off, though? The defence too good. They've got it. No, New Zealand still have it back. Again, playing in that top left-hand corner, which couldn't be very comfortable at all. And Japan do have it back inside the D.
Oh, a little bit.
Football there.
Yeah, they just caught New Zealand out with a quick free hit there, and New Zealand not able to recover. And what in the end was a pretty tame penalty corner.
So just talk us through this one here, Lincoln.
Oh, it was just a little bit unfortunate for McAleese there. He's just trying to control the ball, has deflected it onto his own foot. Good little bit of skill on the edge of the circle there, Japanese striker. First circle penetration of the game brings a penalty corner for the Japanese. We've got a couple of good corner exponents here. Yamada's on the field. He's a very good corner flicker.
All right, here's the shot coming for Japan, and it's met by very strong resistance. And New Zealand now, and that just passed just away to the left. And we just have a look at the replay here. And New Zealand came up very quickly, applied pressure.
Yeah, it was Zalander with the flick there. Also a very competent figure. George Muir is an outstanding penalty corner runner and did a really good job there. Right down the line of the flick, out nice and quick. Very fast man, George Muir. And he's able to prevent the shot from being taken.
Japan have had a lot of the possession at the moment. Another penalty there. Bit of contact on the far side of the turf.
Slightly louder whistle there. That may mean the next one of those, someone's going to be spending some time on the side.
Always the way, isn't it? The louder the whistle, the more serious the infringement.
Jared Punchy there. Nearly getting a steal in a very threatening area.
Japan's been called back. And if that pass there, Kato Rossi was controlled, he could have been away. All right, New Zealand controlling it down right in front of us. Nick Ross just passes it back. Ball been bouncing along inside their D. Oh, the defence from Japan has been very, very good, but off the mark.
Yeah, I think it probably was a little bit ahead of where the infringement was, so I think it was a correct call by Tomlinson to pull that back. Unfortunately for New Zealand. Nice fast hands from Steve Edwards there.
Ross passes it back to safety. Punchia gets it back, and New Zealand now just toying with the defence and trying to link up. And that is a good overhead pass, isn't it? On the far side of the turf, and they just pass it back again.
Yeah, it's a good aspect of McAleester's game. He's a player that's got a very useful overhead pass. So it's a couple of times now he's found a target.
Oh, and this one here. And that's Reid, who has to just tidy up a little bit.
Yeah, a few of these slightly sloppy moments won't be pleasing Darren Smith. New Zealand just struggling to string enough together to get Japan under any real threat here.
Yeah, well, we've really seen no pressure from the Kiwis at the moment. And Punchia, the brother of the captain, moves it back to Reid.
Yeah, they're a very disciplined side defensively, Japan, so they do take a lot of breaking down, and so you need to actually get a lot of things right. And so you can make 3 good passes, but then a bad one, and suddenly any ability to crack the egg just comes unstuck.
As we see that pressure from Japan, and it's paid off, hasn't it? They've got the turnover, and they're back in the right area of the turf. Good strong defence there by Corey Bennett, and he has won the turnover. So New Zealand now with a little bit of space to work with. Gets the pass off, and can they link up inside the quarter? They can.
It's Blair Tarrant making the break there for New Zealand.
He's another experienced player, isn't he, Blair Tarrant?
He's one that doesn't often find himself in the circle, so it's always good when you see his legs pumping and him getting into the attacking end of the field.
Nice one. Yamasaki on screen now with the ball, looking to return it into the field of play. A couple of substitutions being made. So Shahi just on his own side of halfway. Now in the right quarter of the turf here, Japan. Oh, that's a nice little pass.
Sporting a nice New Zealand flagged themed helmet, George Innocent. First time I've seen that.
28 years of age, played 55 caps for New Zealand in goal, and on the bench is Leon Hayward. We talked about him as well, so he might get his first cap off the bench. Here's the shot for Japan. Oh, and it's in.
Yeah, cleaned up on the rebound, really nicely taken goal there.
And Japan draw first blood in the first match of this 4-game series. And it has taken a while. And they just got the deflection there, as we see. And it was number 31, Watanabe, in his 8th match, gets the first goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good first save by George Innocent, but he was just unable to deflect the ball away from harm's reach. And unfortunately for New Zealand, it fell to Watanabe, and he's made a very good job of finishing that. It's not always easy when you're in those positions, but he's...
Overhead pass by Reid. And it's worked out okay because the Black Sticks have it in Japan's half. Reid gets it back. It's a 2-on-1. And again, just passes back to the security of his own team. Applying pressure. And the Japanese defence has been very, very good so far. And they'll look to clear from their own half.
Yeah.
Oshahi gets it back.
New Zealand just haven't been really able to connect with that pass from the back group to the front group. So that's where Japan have been very successful in winning those 50-50 balls that are coming into those areas.
Yamada just toying with the New Zealand attack. And toying with them too much because there is a turnover. And almost for the first time, New Zealand in the D of Japan. And they'll get it back on the 25. Edwards.
Yep. If the Black Sticks need a bit of magic, then Steve Edwards could be the man to provide it.
On the attack again are the visitors. First time in Stratford. And well read there by Punchia. And trying to just link up there with Thomas. Dylan Thomas, he returns after the Pro League. And he had strong performances in the NHL, so he's been rewarded by that. And you've got to be careful here, New Zealand. Ball flying in front of their own goal. And Edwards looking to tidy up. Japan get it back. And it goes out.
Yeah, good young talented player, Dylan Thomas. He's a product of the Central region from the mighty Hawke's Bay. As is Shea McAleese.
Reed. Good pass to the captain. Punchia. Eyeing up what's in front of him. Passes back. Reed once more. And Let just has to correct his receive there. Good pressure again by Japan. It's paid off, or has it? No. They'll go back for the free hit. But in these situations, as Nick Woods takes the ball, Lincoln, from an attacking point of view, do you get frustrated because nothing's really paying off as we see New Zealand go into the D?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Oh, here we go. It could have been. Well, Tomlinson has now picked up that it was a foot there. It's taken a little bit. I think he needed a bit of help from the other referee. It is a hard spot for the referee on that baseline because he's got a lot in front of him.
Yeah.
As you say, like it is frustrating. I mean, as I say, Japan are a very disciplined defensive side, and you have to really work hard for your opportunities. And so far, the quality probably hasn't quite been there for the Black Sticks in this first quarter. But having said that, an opportunity in the final stages of the first quarter for the Vantage Black Sticks.
Well, it will be Marcus Child who is on the baseline. He'll look for a couple of options, I'm sure. An opportunity here for New Zealand to equalise with 1 minute 17 to go. Here's the shot. And very well kept there by Japan.
Yeah, good save. So Nick Woods with the flick there off the narrow bracket. But unable to beat Tanaka.
And Japan again applying the pressure, and it goes out. And there's the siren for the end of the first quarter, and Japan have the lead. It is 1-0 in this first match, and they've certainly had a lot of the possession, haven't they, Lincoln?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a first quarter that hasn't really offered much for the spectators. Both sides been reasonably comfortable sitting back defensively, and when the game's like that, it tends to just end up with a lot of seemingly aimless passing in your own half, which is what we've seen both teams doing a little bit. And Japan probably just, marginally more clinical with a couple of their attacking opportunities, earning a couple of PCs, one of which they've scored off. So New Zealand will certainly be looking to be a little bit, a lot tidier in this next quarter. I think Coach Darren Smith will be certainly demanding a bit more of his players in this quarter.
First goal scored by Watanabe, the 22-year-old. And there's the New Zealand coach, Darren Smith. Spoke to him earlier today, and he's pretty enthusiastic about coming out into the community. And he's backing McAleese on defence and Woods in the midfield. He said he's got a little bit of flair. Haven't really seen that so far at the moment. But He did say that Japan has had a heap of matches due to the accessibility of the country, I guess, so they've got the advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, teams are certainly keen to get to Japan as well to play, because obviously with the Olympics coming up next year there, a lot of teams will be flooding in there to get opportunities to play in that climate, in that environment, prepare themselves. You can see Simon Child there adding to Darren Smith's comments. They're just trying to have a look at how they can break up this very compact, well-organised Japanese defence.
This is the fourth time these two sides have met since the Rio Olympics, and New Zealand have won 8 times, Japan 3, and there have been 4 draws. So New Zealand certainly have the upper hand since Rio, according to the statistics anyway.
Yeah, I mean, New Zealand have traditionally been a better hockey side than Japan, but obviously Japan have been investing heavily leading up to a home Olympic Games, so certainly a side on the improve.
Well, straight away, Muir couldn't quite link up with the pass, and a little bit of flair there for the Kiwis.
Yeah, it's a tactic they often use, just trying to throw the ball forward, and even if you don't win it, you at least can apply pressure straight on the other team up at that end. So you can see New Zealand just trying to go through the gears a little bit more here, get a little more tempo, a bit more ball speed, try and test the Japanese defence out a little bit.
Reid to Bennett, and those two in defence. Their combination's working pretty well at the moment. Reid will get it back. Punchier now look to pass and then gets it back into his own half.
It's interesting. New Zealand have sort of certainly up the ante a little bit here, but so have Japan. Japan running pretty hard in defence. They're trying to create a turnover, so it could bode well. Could bode well for this next quarter. We see both teams having a bit more of a go at each other.
You reckon they got a rocket at half-time?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Certainly, I think the Black Sticks will certainly feel like they were a little bit underdone, like the first quarter was still part of the warm-up, perhaps. So hopefully if they bring a bit more, it'll force Japan out of their shells a little bit as well.
Edwards just trying to intercept the pass there of the Japanese midfield. Zindana, crossfield pass, and it linked up well with Yamada. Free hit there to Japan. Yamada again, very good drag flicker. Just couldn't quite get the pass off to Hoshi.
Yeah, Japan have been struggling with their overhead passes, so it's been a little bit too easy for the Black Sticks to read them. It's come off, thought it came off a foot, but maybe not. Play on, says Dave Tomlinson.
Kirishita. Japan once more, I mean, you know, any opportunity they can get, they just pounce on that loose ball, don't they? And he's doing very well on defence and even on attack too. Yamasaki into the D they go, but Bennett has to tidy up the loose ball. Japan get it back on the sideline. Quickly taken. That's always encouraging. They want to get the ball in play, don't they?
Yeah, I guess just trying to not give the Black Sticks time to set their defence up. So they make a little break down the right-hand side here, and a little bit untidy there from the Black Sticks.
Come on, guys! Jake!
I've seen that a few times from the Japanese. They're just sort of opting to go for a crash ball.
Yeah.
Sort of often something that, can be a very good tactic, of course, but also is a little bit of something that teams tend to do when they run out of options. So it's a couple of times now we've seen them start to handball the ball around and then look to whack it. But so far the Black Sticks been up to the challenge and able to be not too threatened by that.
Pan. And nice deflection there from Corey Bennett. Just reached out with the stick and intercepted the pass. And straight away, New Zealand moving it into a good area of the turf. Muir gets it off to Blair Tarrant. And playing to number 17 is Nick Woods for New Zealand. They'll
Might be a little bit kind.
I'm trying to sell Stratford. The locals are like that.
I mean, a positive, it might snow up on the mountain, which will, if it does clear up, will be nice.
McAleese gets it back to Bennett. New Zealand now finding some players who are unmarked, particularly in Japanese half. It is encouraging, though, that the weather's meant to be better for the weekend. Games on Saturday, Monday and Tuesday as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the weather's nice. I hope the mountain pokes its nose out. The Mount Taranaki, of course, is supposed to look a lot like Mount Fuji in Japan. So maybe the Japanese will feel a little more at home if the clouds go away. Of course, the film starring Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, was filmed here. Fun fact.
It certainly was. Just can't quite link up there on that occasion. And you can hear in the sound effects, Darren Smith talking about the press.
Oh, I think he's just talking about the quality. Just not quite able to make things stick at the moment. And there's another one, just fires over the baseline.
Good work by the ball boys, or the ball kids, as we see an overhead pass. And the Year 5 and 6 students from Nairi and Kaimata schools were involved in the pre-match. It's a good touch getting the community involved. And we do have a penalty shot here, or a penalty corner possibly.
Yeah, he's blown a penalty corner on Corey Bennett there. He wasn't happy with the tackle, but Corey Bennett trying to plead his innocence here. And I'm not... Yeah, I mean, that may have been a little bit harsh. I think he was signalling his back of the stick. The replay not quite showing us there. Came a little bit late. I think you'd hard pressed to say that Corey Bennett has done that on purpose. I think the ball has just struck the back of his stick.
Well, Nick Woods had a chat to the umpire about that. You could see his body language, so he was clearly not happy with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that conversation from Nick Woods might have been a bit of a one-way one.
Ashahi now. Japan, good defence, and they get it back for the second time. Just away to the right-hand side. And we saw that when Japan scored their first goal, the deflection, and then they took full advantage of it as the wind slightly picks up here at Stratford. I was talking it up before, and now it's turned to custard.
Yeah, that's what can happen.
Commentator's curse.
Tempting fate. Yeah, it was actually, I mean, even though that flick was gun barrel right down the middle, it sometimes can be quite a hard one to stop. And Innocent did pretty well there, close his pads, and more importantly, was able to get the ball out of the circle with a good clearing save.
And Dylan Thomas couldn't quite link up with that pass because it went smack into the base of the goal.
You can see New Zealand now just starting to set their press a bit higher here, try and get Japan under pressure more quickly. See if they can win the ball higher up the field.
Pass on the inside of the D. And a penalty.
One of those ones where New Zealand just wanted a little more advantage because it then went into a foot inside the circle, so it would have been a PC had there been a little more advantage play. Good ball.
Here we go, inside pass. And again, couldn't quite link up with Thomas.
A threatening situation though for the Black Sticks. Jacob Smith on the baseline there, and they're just unable to get the ball to Thomas, who was in a goal scoring position.
So Japan's captain Jinki Matani, who was no stranger. He played for North Harbour in the NHL in 2016, so he certainly knows the New Zealand conditions. Childs now back to Punchia. Again, good defence coming up. And that was the captain once more for Japan. And they play with a lot of speed, don't they? Japan, you just see them trying to just link up with passes. And again, this one's very, very good. Yamasaki in the D, kicked away by the goalie, but it's landed in the possession of Japan once more. Yamada links up. Nice. Oh, just a shame on the far side of the turf there. The pass to Rossi.
Yeah, it was a lovely pass, really well hit. Yeah, I mean Japan's speed on the break is where they really look to make you pay, and that's the last attack we saw. It came from a turnover and a quick break. It's the meat and drink for the Japanese men's side. It's what they look to do. And unfortunately for the Vantage Black Sticks at the moment, they're just giving them too many of those opportunities. And here we see the ball come down for the Black Sticks. Smith unable to capitalise.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame there because he had a little bit of space there at the top of the D, didn't he? But just couldn't quite control the ball. Japan on the attack once more. Rossi got the pass away initially. Hawashi now is looking for some options. That's a beautiful pass, that. In some space now, Japan. Yamasaki. Another free hit here for the Kiwis just to alleviate a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it was well defended by the Black Sticks there. As Japan just shifted the ball. New Zealand able to shift their defence, get well numbered up in good position to be able to not have anything too threatening, and a very good tackle by Nick Woods.
And these combinations in the back of New Zealand's half, very controlling.
Yeah, the trouble for them though at the moment is they're not able to find the next bit. And,
yeah,
there's another.
It's this stage, isn't it? Right there where, well, Childs there got the free hit, but you're right, they take their time, don't they? And then they just can't quite find the midfield.
It's a clean tackle by Steve Edwards, but I think the previous one from Simon Child was not as clean. Yeah, it's the first touch at the front end which is letting them down a little bit here. And I mean, Japan are making it hard for them for sure. There's a lot of pressure on those guys when they're receiving the ball up there, but it's the bit of quality they're just lacking a little bit at the moment.
Ross. Punchia looking to find Ross again, but intercepted by Japan. Punchia tried to link up with the ball, and here's his brother over the pill.
Two sets of brothers out there for the Black Sticks tonight. So
yeah, that's right.
The Punchias and the Childs.
One child is more experienced than the other. Marcus, 161 caps, and Simon, 274.
Yeah, the remarkable thing about that is that Simon hasn't played a game in over 3 years, so if he had have been fit and healthy for the last 3 years, he'd probably be sitting on 400.
That's a remarkable achievement if he does get there, doesn't he? A lot of experience. I think I recall when the Oceania Cup was here in 2015, he may have been the captain from memory.
Yeah, that might be right, I think. He would have been. Debuted for New Zealand when he was 16, so it's not often players do that.
Overhead pass, ooh. Be a little bit careful with that one. That could have gone anywhere.
I think Enison had that under control. There's no Japanese players around, so
Bennett. Now playing with a little bit of speed is Woods. And he got a nice pass off again. Just trying to find some links here, and that one's paid off okay with Childs now. A little bit of speed. Just slips over. Unintentional there, I think. But New Zealand will get the ball back.
Yeah, it was a nice little change in shape from the Black Sticks there, and it allowed McAleese to make another one of those accurate overhead passes, and this time Child with a really, really nice receive and a good infield break. And that's the sort of stuff the Black Sticks will be looking for more of, to just try and get some more scoring opportunities, because it's been a very barren half. Oh, here's a silver-plated opportunity for them.
Childs now with all of his experience links up an opportunity and just gone away. Again, the Japanese defence has been brilliant as we're counting down to half-time. And can New Zealand capitalise before that? Possibly not. As you can see the disappointment there on Marcus Childs as we go to the break. And it is still 1-0 in this match. No goals scored in this quarter. What are your summations of that quarter there?
Yeah, a little more lively, Like, I think you saw a bit more tempo, a bit more intent from the Black Sticks, and especially in the first part of that quarter. And that forced Japan to have to run a little bit harder as well. So hopefully that bodes well for the second half of hockey, but still the quality just lacking a little bit at the moment for the Black Sticks, so they're unable to really threaten Japan. Japan would still be feeling pretty comfortable with how they're defending the Black Sticks at the moment.
Well, as the players go to the dugout, we'll take a quick break here from the TET Stadium in Stratford.
They say that the future of humanity is virtual, a place where our personalities are uploaded, and every moment of our life is played out in cyberspace. But what do they know? Ford Mustang. The future belongs to those who build it.
Coverage of the TSB Community Trust Series is proudly brought to you by Vantage Windows and Doors, principal partner of Hockey New Zealand, Computer Concepts Limited, Ford New Zealand, Lotto Sports, and Hockey New Zealand. Live from Stratford, it's the Vantage Black Sticks versus Japan.
Welcome back to the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford for the TSB Community Trust Test Series between the Vantage Black Sticks and the Samurai from Japan. This is the first test, and we are live through our Hockey New Zealand channels and also on Sky Sport. Joined in commentary by Lincoln Churchill. 1-0 at the moment, Lincoln to Japan. And I'm sure New Zealand coach Darren Smith will have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be too pleased, although I also don't think he'll be too phased. Still plenty of hockey to come.
We'll go down to Matt Hastings. Matt, how's things going so far, Turfside?
Yeah, so far so good, Will. The weather has held off for the Stratford faithful, as we are in Game 1 of the TSB Community Trust Series between the Vantage Black Sticks and the Samurai of Japan. What is great this week is both teams have been immersing themselves into the community. Both teams, Japan heading out to some farms, and the Black Sticks holding on some clinics down here at the TET Multisport Centre for the children of Stratford and hockey lovers of the Taranaki. Do head down Saturday at 2 p.m. This Saturday. Weather is looking much more promising for a 2 p.m. start in Game 2 of the TSB Community Test Series between the Black Sticks and the Samurai of Japan. Tickets at the gate, and head on down, bring the family for a great game of international hockey with two internationally top-ranked sides.
Thanks, Matt. Hopefully you're keeping warm down there as the lights start to take effect. And it's a good crowd, isn't it, Lincoln? It's heavily supported in this part of the country. Of course, a very, very good turf. There's one just half an hour up the road in New Plymouth. But the Black Sticks have an opportunity to get used to the environment, as we talked about in the first quarter.
Yeah, no, it is a good crowd. I mean, you're probably looking at most of the population of Stratford in the stands over there, which is always good to see. You know, not a huge town, but one that when the Black Sticks come to town, they get out and support it, which is great to see.
Well, we'll take a look at the goal, the solitary goal that we had here. And it came from a penalty corner. It was a deflection. So Lincoln took us through this.
Yeah, I mean, a good first save initially by George Ennis. I mean, the Black Sticks are a little bit unfortunate. So if you watch here, they've elected to defend this with two post players. So Nick Wood staying on the goal line there. You know, often that player would step further forward, but you can see him there waiting on the baseline. But that meant that Woods was not in position to win that rebound as it came off George Ennison. So the Black Sticks opting to go for extra protection to save the flick, but unfortunately, with Ennison putting the rebound back into the field of play, it's enabled the Japanese to score the goal. So we've been talking up the weather holding a little bit too much, I think, in the half-time break as a shower.
Well, hopefully it comes through fairly quickly, and by the time the teams come out, it'll be gone. But I was just looking at that goal before, and Ennison, he did come out pretty high, didn't he, out of his area, and do you think when he moved back it sort of put him off balance and he was unable to try and get that ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to recover. I think yeah, I mean, he's gone down to save that with a glove, and once you're down like that, it is difficult to get back up again. And I mean, it happened pretty fast. So I mean, you've got to give the Japanese credit there. It was a well taken goal, and
well, just looking out to the north where the weather's coming from, doesn't look that great. As we can see on screen, the rain coming down. There is a saying here locally, Lincoln, that if you can't see the mountain, it is raining. If you can see the mountain, it's about to rain.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't disagree with that.
We're in a pretty good spot here, though. I mean, looking out to the grandstand, you can see the umbrellas are up. People in the corporates behind the glass are in a pretty good spot, to be honest. But, you know, with the weather coming down, the turf generally stays wet with the sprinklers on it, so no real effect on the match.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the hockey game too much. It'll only be if it really heaves down and then you start to get it puddling on the pitch. But for the most part, it doesn't really have too much other than being a little bit unpleasant. It's more really the crowd that loses out when it starts raining. It's not like a rugby game where the ball becomes like a cake of soap and it stays in the forward pack for 40 minutes.
Well, that's right. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the technicals in terms of the turf, but with the water on it, it just allows the ball to skim rather than bounce. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of the way the turf's designed. It's designed to have in the pile, there's a little bit of water sitting in there, and that just, less friction allows the ball to roll a lot smoother and truer. If the turf dries out, the ball tends to stick and then it bobbles. It's also quite hard to run on as well, so it becomes a lot more difficult to play on when the turf's dry. So that's why there are water cannons all around the water turfs to make sure they're kept wet. and it's almost perfect, really. The weather,
it has.
It hasn't been raining all the first half, and just rained at half time, which is the time we'd normally have the sprinklers on anyway. So well organised.
Don't have to worry about water restrictions in a place like Stratford.
Certainly not.
So the two teams assembling now. My name is Will Johnston, joined by Lincoln Churchill in the commentary box for this match, and looking forward to a big weekend that we've got here in Stratford. Of course, the next game on Saturday, and the other two matches Monday, Tuesday. But you look at the Japanese side, 1-0 up in this match at the moment. Sayfred Aikman, what do you think his words were at halftime? Just continue what you've been doing?
Yeah, I think he will be. He'll be asking for the same defensive effort he got in the first half from the team. I mean, he was pretty animated on the sideline in patches during that first half, and you could hear him asking for his players to offer more. Yeah. So I think what you'll see, well, if they follow what he's asking, is you'll see a lot more midfield presence from them, just trying to receive the ball off their back group and having the courage to receive in those areas. I mean, that could open up good opportunities for New Zealand as well if they're able to win the ball in those spots.
Teams back out onto the turf, and the rain has just gone away. That's just great timing. As Japan, as we head into the third quarter, 1-0 up in this first of 4 matches. TSB Community Trust Series.
Yeah, no rain, and as the lights take effect now, it actually makes the weather look a lot better than it is as well. As we see a bit of rain blowing across the turf. So second half starting much the same as the first, with the Japanese just falling back.
A very conservative approach, isn't it? And Nick Woods there trying to link up with his players in the D. Woods gets it back. And a chance here. That Child's there with the strike. Trying to look for the deflection, but no cigar.
Yeah, pretty good crack. I mean, you know, Simon Childs sitting on 140 international goals. So I think I read earlier he's only 10 behind Phil Burrows, Phil Burrows, New Zealand's top ever goal scorer with 150. And it's for reasons like that he scored so many goals. Very good finisher, Simon Child. So he doesn't often have a bad connection on the ball, and then shooting off his wrong foot was able to get a connection, but a good save.
Here goes Japan once more, and it was great work by Hoshi, but Makalise, who will play a very important match on Saturday, tidies up, and he finds the New Zealand player, number 11, that was Smith, and Edwards now gets it back. Works his way nicely around the defence.
Yeah, Shea Makalise sitting on 299 games tonight. Not a great number for Martin Crowe, that one, but a good... Proved to be a good number for Shea Makalise. Well, hopefully it'll prove to be a good number for Shea Makalise from his perspective in this game. Currently they trail 1-0.
Yeah, well, Phil Burrows, Dean Cousins, Ryan Archibald, they're all in the 300 club. So he'll become the 4th New Zealand player to bring up that milestone. But you have a look at both of these teams. They're fairly experienced. A lot of players have played over 100 matches.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty experienced side for Japan. I mean, they don't have as many players that reach the numbers of games that New Zealand do. A little more attrition with the players in Japan.
And, of course, some milestones for Japan. Tanaka playing 100 today. Yamada will reach 100 games in this series in the third match, I believe. And they've got a little bit of space here. And there he is, Tanaka. Gets the ball off, and this is Wakuru. Can the New Zealand defence hold up here? Because if Japan go 2-0 up, it'll put immense pressure on the home side. Number 14 is Fujishima. Free hit here as the rain comes in once more. A little bit heavier, possibly. We're sheltered, so it's okay. Feel for the players, though, who have to contend with it. And it's really heaving down now in Stratford. And unfortunately, it was forecast to get heavier in the evening.
Yeah, this is where everyone in the grandstands is those that don't have one really regretting the fact that they didn't think to bring an umbrella.
Give yourself an uppercut. If you haven't bought a brawler, you're in shorts, mate. You're a brave man.
Yeah, that was bad planning on my part. It was sunny when I left Hamilton.
Yeah. Here's Japan now. And again, good defence from New Zealand and coming away with it. And number 17 is Nick Woods, who has been prominent on defence for the Vantage Black Sticks. Woods gets it back on the far side.
Woods also of Hamilton. You don't often get to wear shorts in Hamilton, so when the sun comes out, you take full opportunity.
I was up there on Sunday, and it was actually quite a nice afternoon up there.
Yeah, that can be deceptive. That's
Yes.
what happens when you visit Hamilton. It always seems to put on some glimpses of good weather, and it lulls you in. Wellington can do the same thing to you. You go
Looks
there and
can
it's
be
not windy.
deceiving.
Yeah. You live there for a while when reality hits you in the face. He's just looking to get a little bit of control on the ball here. Oh, and he really should have done better with that. It was quite a good pass.
There's two balls on the field now.
Teething problems for the ball kids tonight. They're just sipping a few times. A little bit eager.
McAleese gets the pass off to Reed. And here's Woods, this time on the other side of the turf. Reed to McAleese on the right. Trying to come up with an attacking play. Woods again. Nice interplay there. And, well, a foot involved on that occasion, I think.
Yeah, as you see the Black Sticks out letting the ball there, and they're able to skip a pass there. So McAleese skipping out Brad Reed all the way to Nick Woods, close the gaps. And as it worked out, New Zealand were able to find a pass, penetrating pass forward.
A loud whistle by the umpire, David Tomlinson.
So far, the umpire is resisting the temptation to go to the pocket, which has been good for the game.
Well, that's what you want to see. You want to see 11 on 11, but it's an goodness me. Let's have a look at the replay because it really came out of nowhere.
Second goal, Japan scored by number 14.
Just a little bit unfortunate. Just went into the pinball machine.
And it's number 14, Fujishima, the 19-year-old, in his 8th match, gets Japan up to a pretty good buffer.
Yeah, it was good finish by Fujishima. It just was, you always talk about as being in goal-scoring positions, and he couldn't have predicted that ball would deflect off 15 people before it made its way to him, but it did, and he was there to finish it. So good discipline from him. And it was just really unfortunate, the ball coming down the left foot of Nick Ross, taking a nasty deflection, bouncing off Shea McAleese's stick, then into Enerson. It really went through the pinball machine.
Well, yeah, New Zealand will be a little bit disappointed that they couldn't quite control it in their own circle. As Muir look to have a little bit of a press, but they get it back, New Zealand, through Nick Ross. And again, the overhead pass, controlled beautifully. Free hit again by New Zealand, and punch here, that's Jared. Gets it back to Bennett. Woods across the turf. Yeah, that is a very, very nice pass. Inside, or nearly inside the circle. Japan get it back, though, on the far side of the turf. And that's number 4, Matani. And Yamasaki. working nicely in tandem.
You see on that last bit of play, so Woods finding a long ball across field, and you could see the opportunity was there for Brad Reid to get the ball into a striker, but just taking a moment to control it, which just gave Japanese time to get their defence across. And that's really been the story of New Zealand's night, where they just made a little mistake at a key moment, which has meant that the opportunity has evaded them.
Japan get it back. Over the ball is Nagai. Yeah, they're really linking up beautifully, aren't they, Japan? The passes are being controlled. They're finding their men in space. It looks pretty good to watch. As I say that, there is a turnover slightly. And umpires will call them back.
2 balls on the field again for a moment.
It's a 2-on-1.
Of Steve Edwards, but he's unable to win a penalty corner.
Oh, Hoshi did well there. It was a 2-on-1. Japan inside New Zealand's half. Here's Hoshi once more. Great pass again, just on the outside of the circle, but they move it in. Japan trying to look for the player on the inside. And that was Yamasaki once more, who managed to get, there he is there on screen, get into the D. As we do have a couple of placements waiting to come onto the turf when it's appropriate.
Yeah, of course, in hockey, you're unlimited interchange, so it tends to be a very, very high amount of rotation.
And that's probably a good thing too, because it's such a fast game. The ball's all over the place. Heart rate is off the Richter scale, so when you can make those interchanges at key moments, it can be pretty beneficial.
Yeah, too right. I mean, it's a little bit of a chicken and egg scenario, that one, because if you weren't allowed unlimited interchanges, then the game wouldn't be as fast. Players just wouldn't be able to keep running. So it's kind of, when that rule was introduced, it certainly upped the tempo of things. And so
Dane Lett taking his time just to find who was available. He's gone past Woods and goes straight to, I think it was McAleese there. And the pass has been controlled from New Zealand. Oh, nice juggling there off the stick from New Zealand. And that was Thomas, yeah. Good skill. And he'll get it back just outside the circle. New Zealand will need to capitalise here.
He's got a lot of skill for a tall man, Dylan Thomas. Often when you're getting to his height with that arm length, motor control becomes a little bit more difficult.
He'd have a bigger stick than everybody else, I'm sure, just so it's easier to control.
Well, yeah, there's only really 2 sizes of stick. He's probably got the same as everybody else, more or less. It's just he's got to bend his back a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope he's got a strong back.
Yep. He might have more vertebrae.
Oshie couldn't control it there. And neither could Jacob Smith on the far side of the turf. So Japan will get it back through Yamada. Over it goes to the goal scorer, Fujishima. Nagai. Fujishima once more. Eyed up what was downfield, but passes back to the...
You just get the sense that something might happen when you're seeing the ball zinging around like this.
Bennett finds his man. Bennett gets it back. And a chance off the foot, though, from a New Zealander. Japan will have a chance to breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, at least it's a circle penetration for the New Zealand side, and it's a I would imagine it's been a remarkably low amount of circle penetrations for a match of hockey from them so far. So any ball they can get in there is like gold at the moment.
Rossi has got a lot of speed, and he finds Hochi just away. And Nayoshi is in the D, waiting for that pass, but unfortunately just went astray. New Zealand now looking for their first goal of the match, the first goal of the series, counting down to three-quarter time. I think they'd be fairly frustrated at the moment. Not even any points on the board. Japan have scored 2 goals, as you can see on screen with the score. Could they score another one before the break?
Well, if they do, it might just be about game, set, match.
We've got a 30-second call, as I heard in the sound effects. Will New Zealand get it back? And here's a chance just before the break here to capitalise on an opportunity, and kicked away by the keeper.
Again on that occasion, Jacob Smith just unable to... opportunity for Japan there. The final seconds of the half. Jacob Smith just unable to control that ball.
The hooter goes for three-quarter time, and it is 2-0 in this match. Japan have the dominance at the moment over the Vantage New Zealand Black Sticks. 2-0 in this match, and the end of the third quarter as the two teams assemble on the turf. And yeah, you can see just Simon Childs there, just on the left-hand side. Just as his body language is not positive, is it?
Yeah, look, casting a little bit of a look of frustration there. I mean, as you can appreciate, I suppose, at the moment for the Black Sticks, nothing quite going their way. I mean, there is a lot of guys coming back. This is a side that hasn't had a lot of match time together, so you'd expect there to be a bit of rust in the system. So hopefully you start to see a little bit of oil in the cogs and things looking a bit smoother. So I'm sure things will open up a bit more in this quarter, and hopefully New Zealand can, from their perspective, can take some opportunities from that.
Well, with a series like this, 4 matches over the next couple of days, they're in camp. They've got an opportunity to play more games more often, and of course aiming for the Olympic qualification. As we have a look at the goal from this quarter here, and it was bobbling all over the place, as we said in commentary at the time, like a pinball, wasn't it, Lincoln? And Fujishima, he managed to just pounce on it.
Yeah, I mean, it came from the crash ball, which we saw as something that Japan have been looking to employ throughout the match, and until that one with not great effect. But on that occasion, it just, probably the key thing to it was he hit it down the left foot of Nick Ross, who was the key defender on the hot line of that ball, and obviously a lot more difficult to receive a ball on that side of the body. So Ross unable to control with the reverse, and it just went through into the circle in the air. And then once that happens, once that occurs, anything can happen.
Fourth and final quarter underway here at the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford. First match of this TSB Community Trust Series. And Japan on the front foot straight away.
Yeah, you can see the energy levels from the Black Sticks there. I think you'll see a lot more from them in this quarter as they attempt to try and find an opening.
Can they capitalise once more? Yamada, the very good drag flicker, intercepted though by New Zealand. And that's Let, who has been playing fairly well in defence today. He gets a return pass. Nicely worked around a couple of Japanese defenders. And they are playing with a lot of speed. Punchia gets it back to his man.
Yeah, a little bit of Dalefield magic there from Dane Lett. Just he's got some good skill for a guy that sits out there at left defender.
Edwards gets the pass off, and Muir will take it in. Pass to Lett once more with good ball control. Reed trying to find his man, and Japan will get it back, and well, they couldn't quite control that one, I don't think, but oh no, it must have come off a New Zealand stick.
Deflection there. So you can see New Zealand trying to get pressure straight on to the Japanese here.
Lett again to Muir. Intercepted by a Japanese stick. And Thomas to take it in. Again off another red stick. Edwards toying with the defence of Japanese. And, well, again, they're just going to move it away down.
Yeah, Black Six just struggling at the moment to find an answer to this Japanese defence. You can see every opportunity they get to get down that end. They're just finding it tough to find a way through.
That's actually a great shot of the attacking structure that New Zealand has. It's like most sports, when you stand end on, you can see a lot, can't you?
Oh, you certainly can. Yeah, it's a lot easier to see the game from the end of the pitch. And I mean, usually you'll see most teams will stand one of their coaching staff at the end of the field. They're usually mic'd up, and because it's an easier position to just see what's going on, read the play, try and come up with some answers.
Japan, good defence from New Zealand, and under pressure for Japan was Waikuri. They will get it back though through number 4, Matani. Number 25 is Yamada. Just the pass just went away to the left and couldn't quite link up. So a chance here to get into the good part of the turf, and immediately they do straight away. Can New Zealand capitalise on this opportunity? In the D they move, and again, good defence coming there from Zanata.
Yeah, it was a nice break. It shows the value in making a trap. George Muir making a very good receive and then able to quickly get the ball going forward again, and it led to a almost circle penetration for Dylan Thomas.
Bennett puts the foot down, tries to pass in field and couldn't quite do so, and yeah, well, that did come off the foot there of Edwards, so Japan get it back through Tanaka. Oh,
well played.
Yeah, it was well played, and that was the 15, Nayoshi. Moving it in, good deflection coming off the New Zealand keeper, but Japan get it back inside the D, just away.
So I think we might be, what are we seeing here? We're seeing oh no, we're seeing confusion, is what we're seeing.
George Innocent, well, he has let 2 goals through, but that was great work there from the young man. And I think
the game stopped there.
a little bit of a confusion there for the commentators and the players, but the ball is in play once more.
I thought for a moment it might have been the Black Sticks taking off their goalkeeper to go for the power play, but something they are very good at doing. But Darren Smith hasn't decided it's time for that quite yet.
Great interwork here for Japan. In the D they go for another time. The goalie came out of the box, and fortunately enough, the ball from a New Zealand perspective goes astray. Oh, if that linked up with Nayoshi, it would have been 3-0 up.
Yeah, good chance for the Japanese. It was sort of an awkward zone for George Ennis in that one. Ball coming on the baseline and he elected to go, but then a nice little piece of skill on the baseline, but unfortunately for Japan, unable to connect. Starting to see Nick Woods making a couple of nice touches there from central midfield position.
Yamasaki gets it off to Oshai, and just losing a little bit of grip. There is the Japanese player, but they do get it back. Have a chance here for... Oh no, New Zealand now has it back, and that is good work there by the number 22 as Blair Tarrant, but loses the ball. Fujishima in 14, already got a goal tonight, possibly looking for a second. As we can hear the yells and the screams coming from both dugouts. There's around about 8 minutes to go. Japan now, oh, that pass just deflected away by New Zealand, and good work there in defence. And Corey Bennett and Dan Lead have been very good, haven't they?
Yeah, they have been good at the back. Been pretty reliable. I mean, you know, all told, they actually haven't given up too many opportunities. It's just that Japan have made the most of the few they have had.
So I'm sure the home crowd here at Stratford will want the home team to get a goal. Just a little bit of a reward for turning up. As we'll talk a little bit about how Taranaki hockey are doing very shortly. But as we speak, it is a 2-on-1. Muir was under pressure, got the ball off to Reed. Muir gets it back, looking for the deflection, but Japan will look to clear from the deep in their own half. And as they're just trying to clear it, I mean, Hockey New Zealand takes a lot of their matches around the country. Cromwell, Rangiora, Wairarapa Bush, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Tauranga, Nelson, Marlborough, Whanganei, just to name a few. And ever since they came here in the Oceania Cup in 2013, there has been a 47% growth in players in Taranaki. That's incredible, and that's how much hockey has really benefited from coming here.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good thing for New Zealand hockey to do. Take the game out to the regions and farm the games away from the main areas. And we see Simon Child earning New Zealand a very rare penalty corner.
I think it's the second one that we've seen here. An opportunity for New Zealand to get some points on the board. Goals scored Watanabe and Fujishima for Japan. And it will be Marcus Childs to clear the ball from the baseline. Who do you think they'll look for here?
Well, I've got a feeling Corey Bennett. Obviously Kane Russell not on the match card tonight, who's probably New Zealand's alpha dog as far as drag flickers go.
Here's the shot. Just away, is it? No, it's in. Reward for New Zealand, and they get their first points on the board. It's the TET Stadium in Stratford, and it is the number 17. It is Nick Woods.
Yeah, it didn't go to Corey Bennett, as I falsely predicted.
But he was a little bit deep, wasn't he?
Little shuffle at the top there, and Woods off that bracket there, and took a little, maybe did it take a little deflection on the way through, but it was a well executed nonetheless. So, well, that was desperate. The game desperately needed that. New Zealand getting on the score sheet, which gives us now a very interesting last 6 minutes and a little bit of change. Yeah, I mean, that chance is coming from, Simon Child. Good little bit of skill in the circle to find a foot of the Japanese defender and winning a penalty corner. And those are the little moments of class that probably New Zealand have just been lacking a little bit in this game.
Japan all of a sudden are playing with a lot of energy. They know that they're just one goal away, or New Zealand are one goal away for the equaliser, so they want to get it out of reach, don't they?
Yeah, and it's good. It's good from Japan just to try and get back on the front foot after conceding that goal.
Watanabe trying to link up, and Wakuri was just in front of the goal.
It was a good read by Innocent there, just to block that cross off.
Tanaka has found a New Zealander. Will be a free hit though. Tanaka sizing up his options. Here we go. Can Japan get it out of reach of New Zealand? Deflection away. And it must have come off a Japanese stick because New Zealand will get the ball back.
Yeah, we'll say that there is one aspect of Japan's game that's been pretty impressive tonight, is being able to turn those long corner free hit situations just outside the circle into results or into opportunities. And another one there, able to just move the ball and get the ball into a threatening area. And, you know, whilst New Zealand came away with it, it certainly would have sent a few shivers down Darren Smith's spine.
Oh, absolutely. There's that Punchia down there doing very well. It did come off a Japanese stick, so Punchia will get it back. The number 14, and they're in some space now as there's a bit of a cheer from the crowd, finding their voice. New Zealand on the attack. Can they capitalise here? Good work and defence by the goalie.
I think we've got a penalty corner here.
Penalty
Another
corner.
opportunity.
Came off the foot, possibly.
See Tarrant up in the circle again. He must be playing in a more attacking position tonight. He's normally at the back of the park, but he'll be relishing that opportunity.
Conference at the top of the circle. Here's the replay. See the penalty there?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Might have just catch a foot on the way through. No complaints from the Japanese, so it must have been.
We've got Childs, Tarrant, and we've also got Let there, just to name a few. It is Let that'll shoot, and a beautiful deflection. Kicked away by the goalie.
Stoppage in play.
Stoppage in play, yeah.
Maybe. That is the goalkeeper coming off for New Zealand, so they are now going to the power play.
So just for viewers at home, they can kicked away again by Japan, but they can take the goalie off and put an extra player on field, can't they?
Yep, they can. So and the slight rule change this year with that is that no longer can be a kicking. It used to be a player wearing a bib who had goalkeeping privileges. But they finally worked out that it was a little bit too dangerous to have players running around trying to play the ball with their body. And so now you're not allowed to have a player with goalkeeping privileges.
Well, goalkeeping privileges without all the padding.
Yeah, the privileges is sort of the wrong word, isn't it? Like
acting goalkeeper. Interim goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper with a field player with a death wish.
Good luck to him. But yeah, as you say, there's that change there, so he doesn't really act in that role, does he?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously taking an attacking play, so New Zealand will be putting on an extra striker. Try and see if the extra number can open them up more opportunities.
Woods and Bennett working in defence for New Zealand, as Simon Childs will have to run to get the ball. In fact, he'll kick it away and rely on one of the ball kids to put it back on the spot. Roughly 2.5 minutes to play here in this match. 2-1. Japan have the lead over the Black Sticks. And the Vantage Black Sticks will be back here on Saturday. 2 o'clock start. Childs looking at the options. Moving the ball now. Playing in 7 is Nick Ross. Bennett. Over it goes to Woods, the solitary goal scorer for New Zealand, trying to find the player in the circle, but they can't. But Japan come away with it, and they're in a little bit of space, and they do have numbers.
A little trouble there for the Black Sticks.
Oh, off the leg there, I think.
It's actually. Japan electing to an opportunity for them just to hold the ball on the corner of the field there with a minute, just under 2 minutes to go, but they elected to still try and have a crack at scoring.
It's probably safe to say that Japan will probably go 1-0 up in this first of 4 matches. Given the defence of Japan, I don't think New Zealand can score twice within just over a minute.
I think you're right. I don't think you'll see New Zealand score twice, but you could still see them score once. But can happen in a minute.
Oh, anything can happen. I mean, I could be completely wrong, mate. We'll soon find out. There's Oche, just away. Right, time is ticking down here for the Vantage Blacksticks. Can they make the most of it? They'll get the ball back. And they go right down in front of us here. Good play. You can just sense a little bit of tension for New Zealand and Edwards now. The ball intercepted once more from a Japanese player. And Japan get the free hit.
I suppose there wasn't much time on the clock, but still, it probably wasn't quite the need to rush that into the circle. Well picked up. Don't let maybe one final opportunity, although it's going to have to go in pretty quick.
Yeah, desperate smack trying to get it in, and there's the hooter. And a great applause here from the very strong crowd who have braved all sorts of conditions in Stratford. Japan go 1-0 up in this 4-match series. They've beaten New Zealand, the home side, by 2-1, and a very, very good defensive effort from the visitors.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it was a victory that was built on solid defence, and yeah, I mean, Japan, I think deserved victors in that game. They defended very well, really dried up the Blacksticks' opportunities, and so it was in the end just too few opportunities for the Blacksticks to really get Japan under any real scoreboard pressure.
And we do believe that Matt Hastings is downstairs. No. And we'll get to Matt very shortly. Handshakes from both teams. And Japan will be very, very happy with that.
Yeah, Japan will be happy with that. I think you'll see a very different Blackstick side fronting up on Saturday. But, as I said earlier, this group hasn't played a lot together. A lot of guys coming back into the squad from a bit of time out through injury or otherwise, and I think you'll start to see them get through the gears a little bit more through Saturday, Sunday, and so that'll hopefully make more of a contest from a New Zealand perspective.
Well, the Blacksticks, they've got a better ranking than the Samurai Japan. They're 9th, Japan are 15th. Of course, building up to the Olympic qualifying series against Korea on the same turf in November.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the Japan are a side a lot like Korea that will tend to sit back a little bit. But then can catch you. And
Matt Hastings is downstairs with the winning captain.
And with me right now is Genki Matane, the Samurai Japan captain. Firstly, congratulations on your win tonight. 2 pretty important goals, very early, good stages of the game. Was that a contribution to your win tonight?
どういうふうにチームに貢献できましたか？自分たちは多くの規律を持ってて、でそれをチームとして全うできたので、そこが良かったなと思います。We have many disciplines. We could do well.
Setting up defensively, it seems you frustrated the Blacksticks with how you set up defensively to frustrate, to sit back, to sit deep. Is that one of your tactics that you think is pretty strong within your game?
はい。ニュージーランドチームがすごくイライラしてたと思うんやけれども、我々の戦術の主なことは何でしたかって。お互いを助け合うっ っていうコミュニケーションを取って助け合ってでチームで戦うっていうことです。
We communicate each other and we fight as a team.
Game 2 on Saturday at 2 o'clock down here at the TET Multisport Centre. Plenty to work on, but you must be pretty excited from tonight's performance going into Game 2.
4時また、土曜日の2時からまたゲームがありますけれども、またエキサイティングなゲームを見せてくれますかって。
もちろんです。
Of course, we will do well.
Congratulations. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The words there from the winning captain from Japan, Matani, and he played for North Harbour in the NHL in 2016 out of the Fukuai club in Japan, and they'll be very happy with it. Some pretty good messages there from the translator.
Yeah, it always takes a little bit longer to get those interviews done. It's a bit disappointed in Matt's level of Japanese there, but yeah, I mean he's a great guy, Watani. And a lot of the Japanese players are. So it looks like they're doing a little bit of a shootout on the turf here, so just a good little opportunity to practice.
And yeah, they'll just do a little bit of practice there with the shootout, and they're just practicing, so probably an opportunity to practice just in case they do get into that situation. And as they do practice, we'll go back downstairs to Matt Hastings. He's got the losing captain.
With me is Kirsty Sharp from the Asia New Zealand Foundation, presenting the man of the match tonight, and the man of the match goes to the number 21 from the Samurai Japan, Hidetoka Waikuri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Important game for you tonight. You must be pretty happy with your team's performance, getting ready for Saturday's game.
今日とても重要な試合でいいパフォーマンスができたと思いますけど、どうでしたかって。
そうですね。プレ大会、東京だったプレ大会で、自分たちは3対4で、一時はリードを奪っていながら後半逆転されて負けてしまったので、今日はそのリベンジを果たせるように、先制点をしっかり取ってしっかり勝ち切るっていうのをチームで決めて取り組んで、それを実現できてよかったです。
At the Pre-Olympics, we lost a match 3-4. In this time, we try to revenge to fight as a team.
Congratulations. We'll see you Saturday.
土曜日また会いましょう。
Thank you very much.
Well, the first match of this 4-match series done and dusted here at the TET Multisport Centre in Stratford. And Japan go up. Oh, in fact, before we wrap up, we will go down to the New Zealand captain. He is now available with Matt.
With me is Vantage Black Sticks captain Arun Panchir. Arun, not the result you were looking for tonight. Plenty to work on in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, not the result and probably not the performance we wanted today. We're a little bit rusty out there, and our basics weren't good enough tonight. So plenty to improve on, and the best thing about it was we get a short turnaround and play again on Saturday.
So what's important over these next couple of days for you takeaways from tonight's game to prepare you for Saturday's game?
Yeah, I think we've got a few structural things to look at, so we'll look at the film for that, but also just got to play with some confidence, and we're a little bit passive today, so I think just playing with confidence and looking to go forward as much as we can with the ball will help us play a little bit better.
Takeaways tonight. Composure with the ball, a little bit frustrating at times, a bit of a slow start in in those first two quarters. What was said at half time?
Look, it was pretty much stick to the structure, and we just needed to play a little bit shorter, I think, and try to limit those errors. But they're going to creep in every now and again, but we just got to play with as much confidence on the ball, like I said, and hopefully we can do that heading into towards Saturday.
Sure. Nice to get a goal towards the end. Shows a bit of character from the team moving forward. Something to take away and keeping into Saturday's game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a strength of the Black Sticks for a number of years that we're good in the last quarter and we tend to run over teams. But it'd be nice not to be in that position too often.
Sure. Thanks very much. All the best for Saturday.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, boys, plenty to take away from both teams tonight as we step into Game 2 this Saturday here at the TET Multisports Centre in Stratford. Weather held off, so looking forward to another great game on Saturday.
Thanks very much, Matt. And he had the two captains and also the man of the match, and we got that under the way, which was great. And so Japan taking the lead in this 4-match series, winning this first TSB Community Trust Series match 2-1 against New Zealand.
They say that the future of humanity is virtual, a place where our personalities are uploaded, and every moment of our life is played out in cyberspace. But what do they know? Ford Mustang. The future belongs to those who build it.